Seigi is a middle schooler who loves martial arts and sticking up for the weak. His superhero-level sense of justice makes him defend the poor, no matter who he's up against. One day, after saving a man and telling the bullies where to shove it, he gets a quirky tattoo on his palm as a thank you gift. Little does he know, this tattoo is actually a top-secret weapon in the arms race between the US and the Serinistan Kingdom. In the dark cityscape of Japan, a mysterious girl with striking white hair hunts down a terrified mobster through narrow alleys. She corners him and effortlessly dispatches him with a custom pistol loaded with a mysterious white substance. Satisfied, she disappears into the night. Elsewhere in the city, Seigi Akatsuka, a plucky middle schooler, intervenes in a robbery and mysteriously receives a strange tattoo embedded with a powerful ability. Confused and intrigued, he encounters the mysterious girl the next day, who tests his tattoo's power with a punch. The next morning, Seigi dashes through the streets to meet his impatient friend Tuko. Before he can reach her, the mysterious girl from the previous night appears and knocks him down with a punch. She examines the tattoo on his palm, then walks away without a word. Seigi spends the entire first-class period obsessing over the tattoo, annoying his teacher. At break, his friends notice his distraction, and Seigi recounts the bizarre events, including a rumor about a stolen combat-sealing weapon matching the thief's description. Tuko intervenes, insisting Seigi join her for shopping despite his protests. In a bustling market, Seigi and Tuko gather ingredients for a special curry. Seigi steps outside to call his grandpa when suddenly, the strange girl reappears, snatching his phone and sprinting away. Seigi chases her through the city's seedy underbelly, determined to retrieve his phone. The girl leads him to an abandoned building, where she seems more interested in his tattoo than in returning his phone. As they spar, Seigi tries to defend himself but eventually goes all out. Despite his efforts, she overpowers him, pinning him down. Just as she's about to finish him off, she pauses, opting instead for a conversation. Seigi, infuriated and bruised, calls her insane. She, however, is mildly impressed by his resilience and explains the tattoo's power. The tattoo uses a special trigger, hers being chalk, to grant supernatural abilities. To demonstrate, she creates an explosion in the air, leaving Seigi both awed and wary. Back at his grandpa's dojo, Seigi endures a tough training session. His grandpa, unimpressed by his current strength, urges him to get stronger if he wants to follow in his father's footsteps. Seigi takes the advice to heart, resolving to push himself harder. The next day at school, Seigi, sporting a forehead injury, endures a tedious first period. Unbeknownst to him, the strange girl, now known as Izzy, and her handler Tom, are watching him from a nearby cafe. Tom rants about turning Seigi over to the military, but Izzy, sipping her coffee, insists on handling Seigi herself. For the next 3 days, Izzy stalks Seigi, her presence becoming almost a fixture in his life. Tuko, finally fed up, confronts Izzy in a fiery showdown. After calming Tuko down, Seigi faces Izzy, suggesting she just talk to him next time. Izzy, a bit sullen at first, agrees and starts a normal conversation. Seigi, hoping to understand his tattoo, asks about her trigger. Izzy bursts his bubble, explaining that each tattoo has a unique trigger, leaving Seigi without answers. Their conversation is abruptly interrupted when a hulking figure appears, hauling Tom along. Without hesitation, the brute, Wilson, attacks Seigi. Seigi, struggling against Wilson's strength, desperately tries to activate his tattoo's power. When he's slammed to the ground, ribs cracking, it seems all is lost. At the last second, Seigi's tattoo activates, creating a void that takes Wilson out instantly. Izzy is stunned, realizing Seigi might be the one to handle the triggerless tattoo, a rare and powerful variant. Seigi's consciousness ebbed and flowed, caught in a tumultuous dream of swirling, enigmatic tattoo patterns. Just as suddenly as he entered this surreal realm, he jolted awake, disoriented, only to find Tom and Izzy rifling through his personal belongings. His protests filled the room, demanding to know what they were doing invading his privacy. Tom, cool-headed amidst Seigi's uproar, calmly advised him to compose himself and freshen up before they talked. Seigi begrudgingly complied, scrubbing the remnants of sleep from his face. When he returned, Tom and Izzy introduced themselves as members of the US Armed Forces, on a mission in Japan to recover stolen combat weapons. They explained that a rogue researcher had absconded with experimental technology from their lab back in America, and now Seigi, tethered to his newfound tattoo, was their best lead. Seigi's reaction was swift and adamant. He outright refused their request, clinging to the hope of returning to his ordinary high school life. Tom, however, shattered his illusions, laying bare the reality that Seigi's uncontrollable powers posed a danger to himself and others. Frustration boiled over, and Seigi grasped Izzy by the neck, threatening to expose them if they didn't release him immediately. Izzy, unperturbed, swiftly reversed their positions, pinning Seigi to the floor with a stark reminder of his precarious situation. She offered him an ultimatum. Carefully consider their offer, and choose wisely, or face the dire consequences of becoming an enemy of the state. With that ominous warning hanging in the air, they left Seigi alone to grapple with his decision. His room suddenly feeling much smaller and more suffocating. The next day at school, Izzy's arrival turned heads like a sudden gust of wind on a quiet day. As bluesy-floozy, she exuded confidence, instantly drawing Seigi's stunned gaze and the attention of every boy in the room. Their curiosity about her slender figure bordered on intrusive, but Izzy deftly redirected their interest towards Seigi with a playful finger point, setting off a chain of jealous antics that culminated in Seigi's unexpected dip in the school pool. Amidst the chaos, Tuko approached Izzy with an air of protectiveness towards Seigi, sparking a brief confrontation. Later, on the rooftop during recess, Seigi sought answers from Izzy about her transfer, his comments inadvertently flirting with her appearance, much to the amusement of their handler Tom. The conversation turned serious as they discussed Blue Moon's mission against the tattoo thief, Izzy revealing the gravity of their fight to prevent a war between America and Serbia. After Seigi's decision to join their cause, Tom privately commended Izzy's persuasive skills, though Izzy dismissed Seigi's innocence with a hint of cynicism, believing ignorance to be safer. Her concern for Seigi's future underscored her protective instincts, surprising Tom, who teased her for her unexpected empathy. Their exchange was cut short by the onset of rain, prompting Tom's departure for other duties. Meanwhile, in Serbia, Princess Aryabhata's ascent to power signaled ominous plans against America, set into motion by the Brahmin forces under her command. Back in Japan, Seigi's journey led him to Blue Moon's safe house, navigating through intrigue and unexpected visitors. Tuko's pursuit of Seigi uncovered a sinister presence that quickly escalated into a dangerous encounter. As Seigi navigated the safe house's labyrinth, Izzy, still at school, faced a harrowing attack from Laka, whose bizarre intentions and aggressive advances tested her resolve. Amidst the chaos, Tuko, now possessed, confronted Tom with deadly intent, while Seigi's oblivious exploration was interrupted by a call from Izzy, redirecting him towards Tom's guidance. Events escalated further as Tom received chilling news of the coup from an informant, his confusion heightened by multiple interruptions at the door. Tuko's possession by the mysterious adversary culminated in a violent confrontation, mirrored by Izzy's struggle against Laka's relentless assault. As the weird girl faces Seigi in a deadly one-on-one duel, Tuko's consciousness takes her to the weird girl's memories. In the first memory, Tuko finds herself sitting on the ground in the street. She checks around and spots Princess Aryabhata picking up a street rat that resembles the weird girl. The girl, who had previously attacked the princess for a rather peculiar request, gets an unexpected offer to join Aryabhata's elite forces. Princess Aryabhata, in an odd turn of events, grabs the scruffy girl, Iltu, and plants a mouth-to-mouth kiss. She is feeding her food, welcoming her into the squad. Tom, always fashionably late to the consciousness-sharing party, wakes up a few seconds after Tuko's arrival, urgently pleading with Seigi to step aside. Ignoring the warning, Seigi dives headfirst into battle, only to be informed by Tom of a conveniently placed blood transfusion bag that could trigger his tattoo powers. Seigi makes a desperate dash for it, but Iltu kicks it away like a soccer pro. Meanwhile, Izzy and Laka wreak havoc in the school building, turning it into their personal demolition derby. Izzy narrowly escapes certain doom by exploding a compressed airstone combo, leaving Laka shaking his head at such a cheap trick, vowing revenge. Back in the battered safe house, Seigi trades blows with the formidable Iltu, who delivers a bone-crunching blow to his shoulder, hurling insults like it's an Olympic event. Tom, still down for the count, stretches his arm towards Seigi, but his body protests every inch of movement. Just when all seems lost, Tuco's consciousness fights back, triggering a surge of power in Tom. He directs Seigi to pin down Tuco, seizing the moment to wrest control back. With a firm grip on Tuco's head, Tom exorcises Iltu from her body, and by some miracle, Tuco returns to the driver's seat. Seigi checks Tuco over for injuries, boiling with rage, positioning himself between Tom and Iltu's wrath. With a swift, bloodletting palm tattoo activation, he unleashes his void powers, reshaping half the safe house in a bid to erase Iltu from existence. Alas, she slinks away, under orders from her royal boss. Minutes later, Izzy arrives to find her once cozy safe haven in a post-apocalyptic scene. She exchanges banter with Tom, while Tuco scolds Seigi for his reckless chivalry. Seigi, sheepish and contrite, apologizes for his Hulk-like outburst. In the next scene, Izzy trains Seigi in their makeshift basement gym. Turns out, they've transformed the basement into a full-fledged training dojo. Izzy, naturally, schools Seigi in their sparring session, while Tom plays nursemaid, tending to Tuco's bumped noggin adorned with combat tattoos. As he works, he casually plucks out his own tattoos for safekeeping, leaving Seigi baffled. Tom explains his tattoo's unique synthetic nature, while Seigi learns about the ancient relic status of Izzy's and his own tattoos. Izzy, ever the educator, unveils a chilling snapshot of the last guinea pig for Seigi's tattoo, impressing upon him its lethal potential. He vows to handle it with care, under supervision. Later, Izzy briefs Seigi on tattoo lore and upgrading his power, tossing in a nifty device for detecting tattooed foes nearby. Tom and Izzy, meanwhile, debate their next move, troubled by the leak revealing Seigi's abilities. Tom suggests shipping him stateside for safety, but Izzy insists on keeping him close, darting off to mull over her dilemma. Meanwhile, Seigi and Tuco rush home, reveling in their newfound secret. Tuco nearly spills her heart, prompting a swift getaway on her bike. Spotting a mother cat shielding her kittens, Seigi draws strength from the scene, determined to toughen up beside Tuco. Soon after, Iltu and Laka arrive, checking on the kittens. The mother cat delivers an injured kitten to Iltu, who tenderly tends to it before heading off for dinner. Laka, having cooked, grumbles at the cat, incurring Iltu's wrath, but not before he reveals their next target, Lisa, Izzy's supervisor. As Seigi bounds through the maze of high-rise buildings, chasing down a tattoo-stealing mobster, his movements are as smooth as butter on a hot skillet. The thief swings wildly with a stick, but Seigi dodges with the grace of a dancer. Izzy, perched atop a nearby building, oversees the spectacle like a tactical commander, guiding Seigi on maximizing his tattoo's potential in real combat scenarios. Following her guidance, Seigi dispatches the thief with his signature tattoo drive. Izzy praises his grit, but reminds him that tougher challenges lie ahead. Meanwhile, hours later, Iltu returns the kitten to its mother in the alley before boarding a chopper to her next mission. Simultaneously, Lisa and her team relax in their secret safe house, blissfully unaware of the impending storm. Iltu's chopper swiftly arrives at their location. Using her tattoo abilities, she phases through the building's roof, swiftly neutralizing Lisa's entire team before they can react. Her efficiency impresses even Lisa, who counters with her own tattoo powers. Elsewhere, Tuco celebrates a record-setting jump in her school's PE team, basking in the cheers of her peers. Izzy, however, remains focused on tattoo matters, interrupted by an urgent call from Tom about Lisa's team. Securing permission from her PE teacher, Izzy activates her tattoo and leaps across rooftops, racing to the rescue. Meanwhile, Seigi spots Izzy's movement tracker and excuses himself from class, following her trail to the rooftops. Back at Lisa's safe house, tensions escalate as Lisa and Iltu exchange verbal blows before engaging in combat. Lisa queries how Iltu discovered their location, but Iltu only cares about testing Lisa's strength. Lisa, acknowledging Iltu's speed and power, vows not to let her escape. Iltu, primed for battle, unleashes her new weapon, severely injuring Lisa's arms. Meanwhile, Izzy, navigating rooftops, stumbles upon Laka's interference device, momentarily losing control until Seigi intervenes. Seigi arrives just as Lisa detonates a bomb, the explosion rattling nearby buildings. Fearful for Lisa's safety, Izzy urges Seigi to check on her. Racing to the scene, Seigi discovers a scene of carnage, blood staining the once secure facility. Determined, he ascends to the rooftop, confronting Iltu standing over Lisa's prone body.
Come on now, dawg. Come on, man.
Meanwhile, Izzy, spotting an explosive beneath her, scrambles to evade the blast, hindered by lingering effects of Lisa's gravity-altering powers. Engaging Iltu in a heated debate on ethics and allegiance, Seigi attempts to strike a decisive blow, only to find himself hurled off the building. Just in time, Tom catches him mid-fall. Undeterred, Seigi tries to return to the fray, but Iltu and her cohort vanish with Lisa, leaving Seigi empty-handed. In the aftermath, Seigi sneaks back to school, greeted by an irate Tuko demanding answers. Reluctant to explain, Seigi's frustration boils over briefly before he retreats. Tuko, left pondering, confides in a friend about her rift with Seigi, anxious about their relationship. Meanwhile, Izzy, miraculously surviving the blast, regains control and investigates Lisa's safe house. Discovering Lisa's phone, she unearths a recording exposing Iltu and Laka's plans to exploit Lisa. Urging Tom into action, Izzy prepares to rescue Lisa, unaware of the cruel experiments planned for her. Back at Izzy's safe house, Seigi finds Tuko already there. Before he can explain, Tuko directs him inside, where they discover Izzy in full tactical gear. Izzy, with calculated efficiency, restrains Seigi and departs for Iltu's hideout. Awakening, Seigi demands answers from Tom, learning Izzy's actions were to protect him from capture by their enemies. Tuko's role as Seigi's support is clarified, promising to stand by him. Strengthened by resolve, Seigi breaks free, incapacitates Tom, and unleashes his void powers, obliterating the building above to escape and pursue Lisa's location. Izzy and her team prepare to intercept the vehicle transporting Lisa. Confronting Laka and Iltu at the seaport, Izzy initiates a fierce battle to reclaim Lisa and thwart their sinister plans. As the battle rages on, Princess Aryabata of Serbia touches down in Japan aboard her private jet, greeted by a member of her entourage who briefs her on their mission status. Across the port, Laka reaches his apex, unleashing a torrent of pent-up energy to swiftly dismantle Izzy's men. Sensing an opportunity, Iltu excuses herself and stealthily takes down more of Izzy's crew from the rear. Laka, powered by fury, decimates Izzy's ranks in a blink, only to find himself facing Izzy's retaliation, a bullet to his face. Meanwhile, Iltu employs her tattoo abilities on the opposite end of the port, swiftly neutralizing more of Izzy's forces. Seigi and Tuko arrive on the scene dramatically, determined to thwart Iltu's advance against Izzy's remaining allies. Seigi punctures a blood bag and activates his void powers, confronting Iltu for her indiscriminate violence. Their clash escalates, with Seigi condemning her wanton destruction, but Iltu, indifferent to morality, focuses solely on survival and victory. Enraged, she pins Seigi against a container, preparing to deliver a fatal blow. Tom urgently calls Tuko, passing Seigi crucial intel. Iltu's Schrödinger cat technique's weakness lies in observer interference. Seigi closes his eyes, attempting to nullify his role as an observer. However, Iltu surprises him, exploiting Tuko's observation and gravely injuring Seigi. As Lisa struggles against her restraints, Seigi bleeds out, helpless. In a surprising turn, Tuko's sheer willpower momentarily repels Iltu's attack, stunning all witnesses. But Iltu quickly overpowers Tuko, knocking her to the ground. Seigi, hearing the Voidmaker's counsel, taps into his inner strength, unleashing berserk power to neutralize Iltu and rescue Tuko. He creates a pit, sending both Iltu and Tuko plummeting into the sewers. Seigi dives after Tuko, incapacitating Iltu with a devastating blow. Preparing to deliver the final strike, Seigi hesitates, interrupted by Iltu's revelation. Unexpectedly, Princess Aryabata arrives, kissing Seigi in admiration for his control over the triggerless tattoo. She commends his compassion, hinting at the potential devastation he narrowly avoided. With lingering questions, Seigi watches as Aryabhata and Iltu depart. In the ensuing scene, Laka engages Izzy in a relentless one-on-one duel, matching her blow for blow. Izzy, evading Laka's assaults with precision, seizes an opening and targets his abdomen with an explosive round, creating a shockwave. Underestimating Laka, Izzy turns her back, allowing him to exploit her gravity effect, pinning her down for a fatal strike. Lisa and her reinforcements arrive just in time, ending Laka's threat. Aryabhata and Iltu join Lisa and Izzy briefly, exchanging words before Aryabhata withdraws from the conflict. Before departing, Aryabhata reveals the seal of the triggerless tattoo, emphasizing its immense power, and urges Seigi to harness its potential. With that, she disappears, leaving Seigi and his allies awestruck. Meanwhile, Lisa discovers the truth about Seigi's abilities and confronts Izzy for withholding information, inciting a heated argument. As punishment, Lisa is sentenced to oversee Seigi under Brigadier General Sanders' watch during their tattoo research. Surprisingly, Izzy is granted leniency and avoids further repercussions. Elsewhere, Seigi and Tuko unexpectedly cross paths with Aryabhata and Iltu while out shopping. Tuko challenges Aryabhata to a game of ping-pong, while Seigi takes charge of grocery shopping. Aryabhata accepts the challenge, leading to an intense match where Tuko gives her all. Despite her effort, Aryabhata not only wins, but playfully embarrasses Tuko. Seigi arrives, scolding Tuko for her impulsive challenge. Later, Seigi sits with Aryabhata on a bench, pressing her for answers. Aryabhata shares her vision for a peaceful world before departing, leaving Bibi, her former associate, to watch over Seigi and keep him on track. Bibi accepts his new responsibility diligently. The next morning, during breakfast at Seigi's place, Izzy discusses the US Army's involvement with Seigi, questioning if he intends to join them despite concerns about their global dominance ambitions. Seigi reaffirms his allegiance to their cause, not America's. Izzy expresses gratitude before they resume their meal. Meanwhile, Aryabhata boards a helicopter, continuing her journey within the city. That evening, Bibi meets Seigi for the first time. Initially wary, Seigi attempts to confront Bibi, only to be swiftly subdued. Bibi calms him down and explains his role, gaining Seigi's reluctant cooperation. After incapacitating Seigi, Bibi transports him to a sprawling facility. On their way to the facility, Seigi's phone rings with a call from Izzy, but Bibi answers instead, surprising Izzy as she's in the midst of urban traversal. Bibi assures her he'll return Seigi once their task is complete. After a short drive, Bibi stops in front of the massive research center and wakes Seigi. Seigi demands answers, and Bibi explains they're at one of Aryabhata's largest research centers, notorious for its inhumane experiments. He urges Seigi to accompany him inside. Seigi hesitates, questioning Bibi's motives. Bibi reveals he's a former member of Aryabhata's kingdom, who defected upon discovering the facility's dark practices. Now he's returned to dismantle it. Persuaded by Bibi's conviction, Seigi breaks through a wall and they proceed deeper into the facility. During their journey, Bibi shares a tale about the Voidmaker tattoo. According to history, there are 4 Voidmaker tattoos, including one on Seigi's palm. Bibi himself wields the tattoo on his tongue. Each tattoo is associated with one of the 4 ruins, powerful artifacts controlled by different factions. Currently, 3 ruins are accounted for. America controls 1, Aryabhata's kingdom holds 2, and the 4th is sought after by the Brahmin team in Japan. As they approach the inner chambers, they encounter adversaries. Bibi swiftly dispatches them without activating his Voidmaker powers. After clearing the path, Bibi guides Seigi deeper into the facility where they confront Mr. Genius, alias K, a mad scientist overseeing horrific experiments. Mr. Genius boasts of his twisted achievements, revealing how he fused human subjects with the tattoo's nucleus to create synthetic hosts with powers akin to the original tattoo bearers. He callously mentions each subject is rigged with a bomb, ensuring a lethal deterrent if touched. Bibi detects and neutralizes the bombs, using his void powers to render the subjects unconscious. Meanwhile, Aryabhata, Iltu, and Vice Captain K descend into an underground cave in search of the final ruin. Back at the facility, discussions circulate about BB's betrayal of the kingdom, fueling Ka's determination to eliminate him personally. BB orchestrates a strategic move, causing their enemies to converge, enabling him to use his void powers to create a disruptive frequency that disables the bombs and incapacitates their foes. Ka witnesses his plans unravel, prompting BB to apprehend him and his assistant Manisha. She attempts to shield Ka, but he insists she step aside, resigning himself to capture. BB secures them and awaits military intervention to take them into custody. With his mission complete, BB takes Seigi to a serene mountain location for a moment of respite. Meanwhile, Aryabhata successfully locates the final ruin and initiates the process of linking it to Seigi's control. Later, BB visits his doctor to obtain crucial tech from a flash drive that aids in his power regeneration. Afterward, he joins Seigi by a riverside, offering guidance on refining his void powers for greater impact. Seigi absorbs the advice and continues his training diligently. That evening, Izzy encounters BB, emotionally confronting him about his departure from the American military program. She embraces him tightly, seeking solace and understanding. BB shares insights about the ruins' potential to reshape the world if controlled together, alarming Izzy with the scale of their influence. Frustrated, she chides BB for shouldering everything alone before he departs. Hours later, BB meets with his doctor to check on progress with the tattoo rewrite, finding no immediate solution. Undeterred, BB resolves to wait patiently for developments. The following day, Tuko arrives at Seigi's dojo in her nightwear, finding Seigi asleep on the floor. She wakes him gently and implores him never to leave her side again. It should have been me. As they approach their first mission, Colonel Sanders briefs Seigi and Tuko on the severity of the task ahead, infiltrating the location of the fourth ruin and preventing Aryabhata from activating its power. Sanders assures Seigi of Tuko's safety, as their precautions have accounted for her well-being. After the briefing, Lisa introduces Seigi to Team Blue, emphasizing the importance of teamwork in the upcoming mission. She provides Seigi with a rundown of their numbers and strategies, preparing him for the unfolding operation. Sanders rallies his troops with a final motivational speech, igniting their spirits and ensuring they are mentally prepared for the impending battle. Meanwhile, BB undergoes restorative therapy in Wiseman's office, discussing the escalating conflict outside. Anxious to assist Izzy, BB seeks to expedite the procedure, but Wiseman advises patience to ensure his health and readiness for action. Reluctantly, BB complies and relaxes, focusing on completing the therapy. In the mountains, Sanders' team unleashes a barrage of machine gun fire on the location of the fourth ruin. Seigi intervenes, urging Sanders to cease the assault. Sanders reminds Seigi of the realities of war and the necessity to adapt to its demands, including the potential for lethal force. After halting the gunfire, the team disembarks from their attack helicopter and assumes strategic positions to prepare for the ambush. Captain Johnson impulsively charges towards Ka, vice captain of Aryabhata's forces, but meets a swift and fatal end as Ka cuts him down and rallies her subordinates to engage the American troops. Inside the ruin, a maid soldier updates Aryabhata on the escalating situation, prompting Aryabhata to instruct Iltu to join Ka and provide support. Aryabhata momentarily pauses her fusion process with the fourth ruin to issue commands. With a power boost from Aryabhata, Iltu and her comrades struggle to fend off Ka's relentless attacks. Seigi coordinates with his team to corner Ka, but hesitates at the crucial moment, opting instead to pursue Aryabhata. Ka seizes the opportunity, briefly incapacitating Seigi before refocusing on the battle at hand. The conflict intensifies, gunfire echoing as Sanders' forces engage in a heated firefight with Aryabhata's soldiers. Amidst the chaos, Iltu emerges from the ground, transformed into a towering beast fueled by uncontrollable bloodlust. She targets the attack choppers, systematically crashing them one by one. Sanders' chopper is swiftly brought down, but he manages to save Tuko and himself before joining the ground battle. Ka confronts Sanders, unleashing a barrage of air slices in an attempt to overwhelm him. Sanders deftly dodges each attack, countering with a powerful flying air punch that catches Ka off guard. Recognizing Sanders as a formidable adversary, Car intensifies her assault, pushing Sanders to his limits. Meanwhile, Aryabhata completes her transformation inside the cave. She descends and instructs one of her maids to gather scattered tattoos for her use. Outside, Sanders lands a solid blow to Car's abdomen with assistance from Izzy. Using Izzy's technique, he manipulates air density to trap Car momentarily in an airlock. However, Car breaks free just in time, launching razor-sharp blade slices that grievously injure Sanders' right hand and leg. Izzy, incapacitated by Car's devastating attack, finds herself backed against a tree, resigned to her fate as Car prepares to deliver a final blow.
I'm gonna come. Oh.
Just when things looked bleak, BB rolls in on his bike like a hero to rescue Izzy from Car's attack. Sanders and Izzy can't believe their eyes. It's like BB popped out of thin air. BB exchanges a few words with Car and quickly figures out it's all a trap to nab him and his powerful tattoos. Meanwhile, Aryabhata, now fully transformed, spots Seigi lying defenseless nearby. She effortlessly picks him up and pins him against a wall with one of her appendages, leaving him helpless. Aryabhata spills her evil plan. She wants to use the ruin's power to control all tattoos and rule supreme. Seigi tries to object, but Aryabhata stabs him before he can even say ouch. Over with BB and Car, things get awkward when BB confronts her about any feelings she might have. Car denies it at first, but BB drops a bombshell. He's got a thing for Izzy. Car's furious and hurt, swinging her rage at BB. Car swings her deadliest move at BB, but he blocks it like a boss, ready to take her down. Meanwhile, Izzy remembers a moment alone with BB when he asked about her tattoos. She confessed she didn't really care about them, she just got used to having them. Back with Wiseman, he's banking on the nanomachines he put in BB to keep him going against Car. As they clash with voids and air slicers, it's a full-on showdown. Lisa, being the hero she is, takes out a bad guy and checks on Colonel Sanders, who's barely hanging on. She dials Burns to step up while Sanders gets patched up. Lisa speeds toward BB and Car, wondering what the heck BB's doing there. Meanwhile, Burns is barking orders to rally the troops, seeing Iltu going beast mode and slicing through their ranks. He hustles Tuco to safety with Tom, who's left in the dust when his tattoo copy fizzles out. As Tuco's escaping, she's thinking of Seigi and hoping he's all right. But Seigi's tied up by Aryabhata, who's gloating about him being key to her big evil plan. When Seigi tries to grill her for answers, she clams up. Back in the battle royale, Lisa and Burns team up against Iltu, ready to give her a beatdown. They even fist bump before taking on the beast together. BB managed to sever Car's katana, sending her into a fury. Determined to finish him off, Car unleashed her ultimate attack, but BB skillfully dodged most blows, though some landed, injuring his limbs badly. Meanwhile, Lisa and Burns faced a relentless assault from Iltu, who threw everything at them. In a brave move, Burns sacrificed himself to shield Lisa from a devastating blast. As this unfolded, Izzy tried to sneak up on Aryabhata, only to be caught and pinned down by Aryabhata's earthly constructs. Just then, BB crashed into the scene, missing a limb but determined to continue the fight. He pleaded with his inner power source for strength, and miraculously, his missing limb regenerated. Aryabhata, still taunting Seigi about her plans, underestimated his resolve. Seigi, defiant, called upon his own source of power, breaking free from Aryabhata's binds. He joined BB in the battle against Car, their combined effort creating a massive shockwave that overwhelmed her. As Car lay defeated, BB faced a crisis. His own powers threatened to overwhelm him. In a selfless move, he urged Seigi to absorb him, ensuring his abilities wouldn't go to waste. Seigi hesitated, torn by the weight of consuming his mentor. Aryabhata tried to intervene, but Sanders arrived just in time, creating a distraction that gave Seigi the chance to make his decision. With Sanders' help, Seigi gathered his courage and absorbed BB and his powers. Afterwards, Seigi sat stunned, trying to process everything, while Tuco rushed to his side. Before Seigi could react, Iltu appeared out of nowhere and swiftly captured Tuco. Moments later, Iltu returned to Aryabhata, completing their mission. Aryabhata then shielded the fourth ruin with a protective barrier.
I'm gonna come. Oh.
Seigi and his crew managed to escape Aryabhata's grasp and found refuge in Wiseman's lab. There, Seigi anxiously waited for Wiseman to explain their next move. Wiseman, cool as a cucumber, started by apologizing for pulling Seigi into such a chaotic world. Izzy, now down to one arm, demanded answers from Wiseman about BB's true motives. Wiseman, unfazed by Izzy's intensity, praised her spirit before dropping the bombshell. BB wanted to destroy all tattoos and wipe them out. This revelation hit Izzy hard, shaking her belief in BB and leaving her unsure about what to trust next. Unfortunately, BB faces a dire situation on the battlefield, and Seigi fears the same fate. In one memory, Seigi watches BB sparring with Ka when he first joins the Brahmin team. Aryabhata, the king's daughter, watches over them and reassures her father that BB, despite his past with the American military, can be trusted. She values the secrets he's shared about the American army and believes she can handle any potential betrayal. After the spar, Aita, the captain, and Vara, another team member, warmly welcome BB. Aryabhata herself gives BB the triggerless tattoo as a token of gratitude. Later, BB stumbles upon Ka changing in a house, and they chat briefly about team rules. That night, BB scouts the area from a hill, planning to uncover secrets about sealed tattoos and destroy them as a double agent. He encounters Vara in the bushes, whom he confronts and interrogates. Vara, a spy sent by the king to monitor Aryabhata, agrees to collaborate with BB upon discovering his true identity. Their discussion is interrupted by Ganesha, one of Aryabhata's creatures, attacking them. BB sacrifices himself to let Vara escape, but Ganesha injures him badly. Despite his wounds, BB rushes to the king's castle where he finds Vara speaking highly of him to the king. Vara urges the king to work with BB, revealing Aryabhata's plot to overthrow him. Initially defensive, the king eventually welcomes BB, but demands clarification. BB warns him about Aryabhata's ambitions, prompting the king to order BB to leave. On his way back to his room, BB bumps into Aryabhata, who invites him on a mission with her and Ka. BB, now on his first mission with Brahmin, fights enemies alongside Ka, but he hesitates to take down his former pals. BB shares his philosophy of sparing both the good and bad guys, leaving their fate to a higher power. Ka rolls her eyes, dispatches the enemy with her sword, and heads back inside. One night, BB shows off his powers to Vara and talks about their plan to sneak into Samsara, Aryabhata's secret lair. BB's curious why the king's so protective of Aryabhata. Vara spills the beans about the king's love for her, which BB gets, advising Vara to believe in brighter days. Suddenly, Ganesha attacks again, and BB, with Vara's aid, obliterates her tattoo with his Voidmaker power. Afterward, BB's vision blurs, but he's determined not to quit. He punches through a wall and lands in Aryabhata and her sister's playroom. Inside, Vara's gobsmacked to see loads of Aryabhata clones goofing around. One of the sisters introduces the clones and gives them a tour, showing thousands of pods filled with Aryabhata clones in the control room. BB asks about the clones, and Aryabhata spills the tea. 35 years ago, the king wiped out a whole clan to create a superpowered tool like Aryabhata. He gathered folks and experimented on them to make one super being. One of BB's tattoos activates, letting him grab some clones, burn data onto a flash drive, and bolt from the facility. Aryabhata orders Ka to halt BB at any cost. Ka catches up in the woods, kills Vara, and BB scoops up Vara's body to confront the king. Aryabhata's dad spills the beans to BB, and instead of ditching him, BB swears to shield the king from Aryabhata, seeing her as a bigger threat. The king, accepting his fate, reveals a secret railway to flee the palace and reach Aryabhata's lair. BB takes the train and lands at a port, facing Iltu and beating her before tackling Ka. Ka goes all in, but BB manages a barrier and charges Aryabhata. Realizing his slip-up in thinking he's a total hero, BB finds himself trapped in the captain's cagey prison that envelops him. With time running out and Aryabhata hot on his heels, BB manages to slip out of his ghostly prison and make a daring escape. Aryabhata, frustrated, unleashes a powerful laser beam that misses its target, a departing ship. She orders Ka to track down and eliminate BB by any means necessary. BB survives by clinging to the ship, hitching a ride to safety. Later, Seigi finds himself in a contemplative moment with BB, pouring out his heart about the challenges ahead. BB, always calm under pressure, assures Seigi that he's got his back no matter what.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the f*** is that?
Jumping ahead a few months, the former Team Blue members are now living off the grid in the woods, evading Aryabhata's forces. One day while fishing, Seigi, who's grown significantly stronger, and Izzy catch up. They discuss BB, Aryabhata, and Wiseman. Izzy worries about Wiseman's ulterior motives, suspecting he might betray them. Seigi tries to ease her mind, confident they can handle whatever comes their way. That night, after a grueling training session, Seigi and the team sit down to a protein-rich dinner. Izzy grimaces at the sight of worms on her plate, but Tama playfully nudges her to try them, sparking a hilarious food fight. Izzy retaliates, giving Tama a piece of her mind. After the feast, they return to their training, with Seigi impressively outperforming everyone. Back at their camp, Izzy receives a crucial call from headquarters. They've been located by Aryabhata's scouts. Izzy finds a mysterious CD labeled Letter and takes it to HQ for analysis. The next day, Seigi and Izzy attend a briefing where Wiseman advises caution, but Seigi insists on watching the CD's contents. The video reveals Aryabhata's plan to keep Lisa alive and seize the fourth ruin in the Grand Canyon. Determined to stop Aryabhata, Seigi urges Wiseman to mobilize their forces. Wiseman, however, suggests waiting for a virus in Seigi's tattoo to activate, a failsafe against Aryabhata's ambitions. Seigi debates Wiseman's strategy, prompting Izzy to stand up and advocate for immediate action, channeling BB's bold approach. She presses Wiseman to deploy troops to rescue Lisa before it's too late. Reluctantly, Wiseman agrees, signaling the start of their mission to America. As preparations intensify, Tom visits his love interest, Yumi, at her manga company. He makes a heartfelt promise to marry her if he returns from America, leaving Yumi both worried and hopeful for his safe return. Fully geared up, Team Blue flies to the Grand Canyon to join forces with Sanders and his troops. While scouting the area, they encounter AA from the Brahman group, setting the stage for a tense confrontation. Izzy and her team leap into action, engaging in a fierce battle. Seigi carves a path through the rugged terrain and encounters Laka and his partner. In the heat of battle, Izzy discovers that Laka's partner is actually Lisa, leading to an intense showdown. Tama, always ready for action, steps in to save some soldiers from a sticky situation, only to face Lisa head-on. Their banter escalates into a serious clash, with Lisa vowing to teach Tama a lesson he won't forget. As the chaos intensifies, AA and his killer bees unleash havoc on the attack choppers, taking down a significant number of them. Amid this onslaught, Ka infiltrates the American base, swiftly eliminating their commander. Just as she's about to finish Sanders off, Aryabhata intervenes, insisting they keep him alive for future mockery. Meanwhile, Seigi locates the ruin in the canyon and uses his Voidmaker powers to drill into an underground cave, descending towards it. Inside, he confronts Ka in a fierce battle. Ka warns Seigi that destroying the ruin is nearly impossible now that Aryabhata is inside it. Drawing strength from a fragment of BB's source, Seigi regenerates and engages Ka with determination and a few biting remarks. Tama harnesses his sealed power to enhance his strength, engaging one of Laka's partners in combat, while Izzy holds her own against Laka, eventually aiding Lawrence and Tony, who are trapped. Izzy breaks Lisa's hold over Schrodinger's cat and confronts Laka, who brutalizes Lawrence and prepares to kill Tony. Izzy intervenes, poisoning Laka with a venomous bullet. Elsewhere, Tama gains the upper hand against another of Laka's partners, while Izzy throws Laka at the woman, leading to their mutual defeat. Seigi continues his grueling battle with Ka, enduring injuries but refusing to yield. Pausing amidst their clashes, Seigi questions Ka's loyalty to Aryabhata, who seeks to attain ultimate power. Ka reveals the deep bond between Aryabhata and her sisters, believing that Aryabhata's ascension will bring them all great benefits. Concerned for Aryabhata's loss of humanity, Seigi resolves to stop her. In a climactic exchange, Seigi disarms Ka and asserts his determination to prevent Aryabhata from dominating humanity. Ka, undeterred, sheds some attire, thanking Seigi for the opportunity to unleash her strongest attack. With resolve, she challenges Seigi, who, guided by Bibi's soul, withstands her onslaught and seizes an opening to knock her out. In her final moments before losing consciousness, Ka casts a bitter gaze at Bibi for being distant from her. Moments later, Aryabhata arrives, fully transformed and empowered by the ruin's energy.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the f*** is that?
Seigi understands that this is the ultimate test of his training. Gathering his void energy, he unleashes a barrage of attacks, but Aryabhata effortlessly counters each one, pushing Seigi to the defensive. Aryabhata expands her power, manifesting a colossal form while philosophizing about strength and weakness. Meanwhile, Aita, unable to maintain aerial superiority, chooses to self-destruct, creating a massive explosion that engulfs the battlefield. Izzy and the team descend into the crater, finding Sanders injured but alive. After ensuring his safety, they rush to aid Seigi, determined to save him from Aryabhata's overwhelming power. In the midst of duty and personal reflection, Izzy gazes at a family photo, yearning for a different outcome than the tragic losses she has endured. Nevertheless, she steels herself to confront the impending battle, driven by the resolve to protect humanity's last hope. Seigi finds himself struggling against Aryabhata's overwhelming powers. She lectures him about her twisted beliefs, puncturing his belly and stabbing him in the back with her earthy appendages. Aryabhata justifies her actions, claiming humans are a blight she must cleanse from the world. With a forceful strike, she knocks Seigi down to a lower level. Izzy, Tama, and Tom arrive in the nick of time to tend to Seigi's wounds. He pleads to be allowed to avenge Tuko's death, but Izzy and Tama refuse to let him act recklessly. They leave Seigi in Tom's care and confront Aryabhata themselves. In a fierce battle, Izzy manages to dethrone Aryabhata from her throne, but she's severely injured and rendered unconscious. Aryabhata, infuriated, collapses the cave in a desperate attempt to eliminate Izzy and Tama once and for all. Once Aryabhata deals with them, she ascends to the surface to face Colonel Sanders and his choppers. Inside the chopper, Sanders reveals a last resort, a nuke hidden in the Grand Canyon. But when he tries to activate it, nothing happens, sending him into a fit of frustration. Seigi, done with waiting, leaps from the chopper and catches Izzy mid-fall. As they descend, Aryabhata manifests a colossal Megazord to devour Seigi. However, Seigi's own powers surge, saving him and Izzy. Wiseman, observing everything, triggers a virus he planted in Seigi, weakening Aryabhata's Megazord. Despite the poison, Aryabhata's Megazord remains formidable, crushing Seigi's Megazord. In a moment of clarity, Seigi realizes the gravity of the situation. Tom's voice snaps him back, urging him to rise and fight for the world's billions. Encouraged, Seigi rises, shattering Aryabhata's Megazord's jaw. Meanwhile, Izzy awakens and seeks comfort in Bibi's arms. She embraces him tightly. Back in the battle, Seigi takes command, turning the tide. He apologizes for past betrayals and draws strength from everyone's support. With a decisive blow, Seigi obliterates Aryabhata's Megazord. Elsewhere, Aryabhata's eldest sister sacrifices herself, alleviating her sister's agony. The battle rages on as Seigi relentlessly pounds Aryabhata's Megazord into oblivion. With the fate of the world hanging in the balance, Seigi emerges victorious, reducing Aryabhata's Megazord to dust. As the dust settles, Seigi stands as the lone hero. The American forces cheer his name, celebrating his triumph over imminent destruction. Seigi, the savior, is hailed for rescuing the world from Aryabhata's tyranny,